let's do a little more of what at least one person will call my hero worshiping. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebel. Welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast number 334. This is the one about the incredible Inosanto influence. A lot of alliteration, I know. As you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you're catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, where everything should be working, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune broadcasts. Okay, so as some of you might know, I was in Dallas last weekend for another Inosanto seminar. And when you're in Texas, you never know who you might run into. And so, sure enough, as I'm standing around checking out the gym, who should I see but this guy over on the left side, Pete Hetrick. Okay, now, when I met Pete, it was in July of 1984. I'm pretty sure I have my dates right. It was July of 1984. We were in St. Louis, which is a city in the state of Missouri. I'm doing my best homage to our incredible Veep. Pete himself lived in Janesville, which is a city in the state of Wisconsin. Now, fast forward to 1988, and I'm in Janesville at the Inosanto seminar being hosted by Pete and his dad. I'm not sure, but I think by this time they're no longer operating like a pure Taekwondo only school. Now, this Janesville seminar is of particular personal significance to me because, one, it was the first time that I got to demo with one of my JKD heroes, Rick Fay, who is still from Minneapolis, which is a city in the state of Minnesota. So Sifu Inosanto called me and Rick up to demo to illustrate the point that when you know what you're doing, people who do not train together on a regular basis can still easily and quickly fit in with each other. This one other reason why this is personally significant, this is where I first saw and met Ron Balicki and Larry Lindenman, who at the time were both from Chicago, which is a city in the state of Illinois. But most importantly, this seminar, Janesville, August of 1988, was the first time that I heard Sifu Inosanto say, and this was in response to teaching the JKD Trapping Hands. He goes, I no longer teach these, I teach Jeet Kune concepts. And then he went on to show how with a little bit more what I call silat type penetration, your Wing Chun / JKD trapping could be more enhanced. Or that was my takeaway. Okay, back to Dallas. So Pete is now a responsible adult with a wife and kids or kid, I'm not sure, and maybe even grandkids, again, I'm not sure, but a responsible adult with a long time career now in corporate security and protective services. I'm still me, by the way, right? I haven't changed. So we kind of look at each other and I say something like, you know, Pete, if it wasn't for him, pointing to Inosanto, that little guy over there, you and I wouldn't be standing here after all these years. And come to think of it, it's not just us. It's the 100 or so people in this gymnasium. Now, take it outside of this gymnasium, keep it in this city in Texas, and then expand it to other cities in the state of Texas. Right? Okay, so now take it into another state, leave Texas, and we take it into another state and into the cities of that state. And then we take it to the rest of the United States. But we're only still just getting started because we need to, as they say, cross the pond and go over to Europe. And guess what? We got to do it all over again in the different cities in the different European countries. And when I say Europe, I include Japan and Australia, okay? Because I dropped geography for Spanish a long time ago in high school. Now, as an aside, someone recently posted about Dan Inosanto's marketing plan as if he sat down and strategized all of this. And so I'd just like to inform people that Dan Inosanto's big idea at the start of like his instructorship program or what have you, his big goal was to have, you ready for this? One person in every state, not one person in every major city in the state, one person in every state. So for example, that would have been like me for all of Florida, which is what, 9 hours long, right? Okay, but I digress. So that was Saturday morning with Pete. Now on Sunday morning, Ron Reagan and I are sitting at breakfast with Cara and Chuck Greco. Now, in case you don't recognize, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Chuck and Cara, right? Chuck and Cara Greco. If you don't recognize that type of a surname, it's from a place in Europe called Italy. But Chuck and Cara are from Eastchester, which is a city in the state of New York. But because of Sifudan, they recently visited the old country for the Inosanto Instructor Conference. Now, catch this, right? Chuck and Cara are also part of the Warriors Way group, which is headquartered in Wichita Falls, which, despite its name, is not in the state of Kansas, is in the state of Texas, and it is headed by Harley Elmore, who I first met in 1989 when he lived in Tulsa, which is a city in the state of Oklahoma. So, how many cities and states have I mentioned over the past 7 minutes? And we're just talking about 4 or 5 people. Do you get it? You see, the common denominator for all this is Dan Inosanto and the love of and the dedication to martial art, which he embodies and which he instilled in us and continues to inspire in us to this day. Look at how many decades the 4 of us have been running around behind him. In my and Peter's cases, it's the early to mid 1980s. Chuck and Cara, if I have the dates correctly, it's the mid 1990s. And Harley is the late 1980s, again, if I have my dates right. And that's just in Dallas last weekend. Now, my erstwhile musketeer, Ron Reagan, and I are heading out to, Dallas, not Dallas, what the hell, Dwight? We're heading out to Stockton in a couple of weeks. And I guarantee you that this phenomenon of talking to people who have been with Inosanto and who have been traveling around to see Inosanto for decades, I guarantee you we can have that conversation all over again. But what about Inosanto's students from the 1970s? Because we haven't even talked about them, right? So do you see how this sphere of influence could possibly involve thousands, if not tens of thousands of students? So this is what I want your takeaway to be. If you take what I've just said into strong consideration, and I'm sort of speaking to the same people that I addressed in the opening 10 minutes ago. Do not be shocked or surprised when you say something disparaging about Dan Inosanto, and a ton of people rushed to his defense in their own colorfully expressive ways, I will say. Okay? All right. So that's it for me for today. You guys let me know what you think about all of this, the incredible Inosanto influence. I like my own alliteration. All right. Let me know what you think in the comments below. That's all I got to say about this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, subscribe, hit the notification bell over on the YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. At paypal.me/UnifiedMA paypal.me/UnifiedMA The Jeet Kune Journey Volume 1 is available, paypal.me/UnifiedMA You can also support the show over at jkdrebel.com. Click on the Rebel Gear link, and that's where you'll see stuff like this. The Unified Martial Art Academy official Kali JKD t-shirt, jkdrebel.com. Click on the Rebel Gear link. In a couple of weeks here in Miami, we have TCF the System Seminar with G. Anthony and Mrs. Joseph. This, you can find it. I checked for myself. If you go to my page, the Dwight D. Woods page, and you click on my events, you'll see it there, and all of the registration information and what have you is available there. As you know, we have Titans of JKD 4 coming up next year, February 1st and 2nd. And on Friday, so there are 5 Fridays in August. I'm going to be on the road with Ron Reagan for at least 2 of them. So we will reverse. Instead of the last Friday of the month, this Friday, let's do an episode of Ask Me Anything. So 6 p.m. I'll put up a postcard for it later today or tomorrow, but you guys just get ready with your questions for Friday at 6 p.m. And that is pretty much it for today, which is a pastel day. So I went to Bruce Van Gogh, which I haven't worn in a long, long time. All right, so that's it. Let me just make a quick check here and see if there's anything I need to comment on for you guys. Hey, Mr. Brown. Tim Becker says, colorfully expressive. Yep, I know you know what I mean. Keith Kirkpatrick says, has to be thousands of lives changed and influenced through Guru. Oh, for sure, Keith, for sure. All right, okay. So you guys tune in again, same bat channel on Friday at 6 p.m. and let's rock and roll. Until then, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebel, signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care. Be safe. Talk soon.